Babylon the Great, mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Babbling on and on and on.
This is Babbling On in Babylon, brought to you by Bible and a Bicycle on YouTube.
Greetings and welcome back, my friends and family and fellow believers, non-believers alike. My name is Will, and I am an aspirant follower of Yeshua Hamashiach. You might know him as Jesus Christ. Thanks for joining us here this evening as I rant and rave and babble on in Babylon. Today we're taking a ride down a dark road, one I know all too well. A true and unsettling look into the world of shadow people, demonic oppression, grief, and ultimately, deliverance in the name of Yeshua. So let's start with the basics. What am I talking about when I say shadow people? You probably heard the stories. Figures glimpsed out of the corners of your eyes. Barely seen, but definitely felt. They're described as dark, humanoid shapes, often with no distinguishable features. Some people report glowing red eyes. Others mention strange hats or cloaks, and many say they vanish the moment you focus on them. They've been part of folklore for centuries, from Middle Eastern jinn to Native American spirit lore. Some believe they're ghosts, others interdimensional beings. Still, others say they're psychological projections, symptoms of trauma, or sleep paralysis. These aren't new reports either. Ancient texts and oral traditions from cultures around the world include descriptions of dark figures or night spirits to behave just like these shadow people. In Japanese folklore, they're called yori, spirits of the restless dead. In Middle Eastern traditions, they're associated with jinn. Native American tribes describe beings of shadow that live between this world and the next. The Zulu in South Africa speak of shadow hunters. Even medieval Christian mystics warned of black mass entities. Science tells us it could be our brains glitching under stress, the result of anxiety, sleep deprivation, or neurological issues. But if that's all they are, why do so many people describe the same things? Why are these shared patterns of fear, manipulation, and even aggression? These accounts come from different cultures, different centuries, and different worldviews, yet the patterns repeat. Let's look a little deeper at those shared descriptions. Shadow people are often tall and human-shaped, but darker than the darkness around them. Sometimes they have glowing red or yellow eyes. Some people see them wearing wide-brimmed hats or cloaks, giving rise to the Hat Man theory. They seem to move impossibly fast, disappearing when you try to focus. They appear in your peripheral vision, often in moments of extreme emotional vulnerability. So what do these beings have in common? Some people feel like they're being watched. Others feel paralyzed with fear when they see them. And still others experience sleep paralysis alongside shadow people sightings. like lying awake but unable to move, with this entity looming overhead. But for some people, shadow people don't just visit. They stay. They follow. They torment. They feed. So what are they? Well, some say they're a ghost, spirits of the dead who haven't moved on. Others argue they're interdimensional travelers, slipping through tears in space-time. A growing number suggest that they are projections of the subconscious mind, our shadow self taking form. And of course, many, including myself, believe they are demonic entities. Many in the paranormal and spiritual community believe these things thrive on negative emotional energy. Pain, fear, depression, anger, grief. It's like they draw sustenance from it. Some call them shadow feeders. Let's talk about the feeding. Here's what that can look like. You go through trauma, a death, a loss, addiction, abuse, and suddenly you start seeing things. You feel a presence. Your thoughts get darker. You're always tired, always on edge. Nightmares become more vivid, and sometimes, just sometimes, you catch something watching you. It's not just a metaphor. Many describe feeling drained, emotionally wrecked, or mentally chaotic after an encounter. Shadow people seem to feed on our emotional energy. Think of them like spiritual parasites. They attach to your wounds and keep them from healing. Some believe shadow people are assigned, one per person or per bloodline. Others think they show up when an invitation is given, whether knowingly, through occult practices, or unknowingly, through trauma. There's even a theory that extreme emotional pain acts as a beacon, drawing them in. And once they show up, they don't leave easily. This isn't just a story or a theory to me. I lived with one. Next up, I'll tell you exactly how it all began. When the trauma cracked my soul open and something crawled in. Stay tuned.
Riding through life with nothing but your faith and a flat tire? Looking holy but not very hip?
Then, roll on over to the Bible and a Bicycle merch store, where scripture meets street style and testimony rides in style. That's right, tees, hoodies, mugs, and more designed for kingdom cruisers just like you.
Whether you're coasting through trials or popping a wheelie on the Word, we've got gear that helps you rep your faith without breaking the chain.
You ain't gotta shout your testimony, just wear it. These fits speak louder than a Sunday sermon on two wheels. Bible in the basket, truth on your back, and the joy of the Lord in every pedal stroke.
I wore that ride your bike and read your Bible hoodie while cruising downtown, and 3 people stopped me to ask if I was part of a movement. I said, you better believe it.
Bible and a Bicycle merch may cause spontaneous witnessing, joyful riding, and nods of respect from total strangers.
So whether you're on the grind, the climb, or just coasting in grace, do it in gear that's built for the ride. That's the Bible and a Bicycle merch store, where faith rolls deep and your style never flats out.
Bible and a Bicycle merch. Ride bold, rep truth, look good doing it.
Yeah, I had holes in my shoes and a hole in my soul, chasing bottles and in shadows, never quite whole, but the road kept rolling and grace kept calling. Just me, two wheels, and the word when I was falling. Used to ride dirty through times I don't name, drowning in liquor, hiding my shame. Every mile of memory, every high just a chain. Thought I was free, but I was running from pain. I slept in ditches, prayed in alleys, heard the voice of God in the strangest valleys. No roof, no plan, just the truth in my hand. One holy book and a busted kickstand. Just a Bible and a bicycle riding through the storm, where the Spirit led me even when the nights were worn. I was broke, but I was breathing. I was lost, but still believing that He could take a mess like me and make it reborn. Yeah, a Bible and a bicycle, that's how I was transformed. They said I never changed, just a ghost in a shell, but Yeshua broke through my private hell. No preacher, no choir, no stained glass view, just pages turning and tires spinning true. I ain't polished, I ain't church clean, but I've seen miracles behind the scenes. From motel floors to mountain highs, He showed up real in my lows and my cries. I ain't riding for riches or likes of fame, I ride cause I got saved from the flames. Every scar's a psalm, every bruise a beat, every fall was a lesson that knocked me off my seat. Just a Bible and a bicycle riding out the storm, that's all I had to steer. Through the fog of my past and the grip of fear, I was bruised, but He was present. My repentance was my crest, and now I ride with the King and the road is clear. Yeah, a Bible and a bicycle brought me here. Chains squeaking, heart speaking, grace peaking, soul reawakened. No map, no pride, just faith to guide. Two wheels, one word, and the fire inside. You're just a abide on, soldier. Grace is your fuel, Bible in your grip. The road is your school. Don't need no throne, just a Savior who rules. I was lost in the wreckage, now riding renewed.
I'm going to tell you a story I never thought I'd say out loud. My own true account of being stalked by a shadow entity. It all started after the death of my first son. He passed away from SIDS, and my world didn't just fall apart. It shattered. I was wrecked. Emotionally, spiritually, physically. And instead of running to God, the God that I had grown up hearing about but never really knew, I ran into darkness. I began dabbling in the occult, the tarot, energy work, crystals, anything that offered answers. And that led to darker activities. I was opening more doors than I was closing. Drugs, alcohol, bitterness, blame, grief. I didn't want help. I wanted escape. I wanted numb. And somewhere in that void, something found me. At first it was simple. Just glimpses in the corner of my eye. Little flashes in the periphery. Like someone had just stepped out of sight. I'd turned to look, and there was nothing. Maybe it's the drugs. Maybe it's the stress. I shrugged it off. Until the day I turned and actually saw it. It was standing there, a tall, vaguely human shadow. No details, just a darkness darker than the room itself. But I felt it. The malice, the grin, the glowing red eyes. And the weirdest part? It looked surprised, like it didn't expect me to see it. That was the moment something shifted. I didn't scream, I didn't run. I froze. And deep down, something whispered that this was only the beginning. It became a fixture in my life, a constant companion. Not every moment, but always near, always watching. Sometimes bold, sometimes subtle. I'd see it pacing across hallways in the night, crouching in the corners of rooms, standing just behind me in mirrors. Sometimes I wouldn't see it, but I'd feel it. Cold air, that creeping dread, a deep sense that I wasn't alone. And the scariest part was, I got used to it. My wife at the time, she saw it too, and she didn't do drugs or drink. We both saw it. It wasn't a shared delusion. It was real, and it wasn't going away. We stopped talking about it. I mean, what was there to say? It was like admitting the air we breathed. It was just there, a dark presence threading itself deeper into our lives, watching, feeding. Certain drugs seemed to thin the veil. I could feel the entity more clearly, sometimes even interact with it. It wasn't speaking in words, but there was an exchange, a knowing, a mocking intelligence behind those red eyes. It knew me. It knew my pain, and it was patient. Years passed. I divorced, moved houses, left cities, tried to start fresh, but it always followed. From the high deserts of Arizona to the quiet cold of the mountains, it remained. There were times when it would disappear for weeks. I'd almost convinced myself it was gone, until something would happen. A fight, a relapse, a moment of deep sadness. And then I'd feel it again. The room would darken, the shadows would stretch, and I'd know it was back. And I can't tell you how many nights I drank just to make the fear fade. I welcomed oblivion over reality, because my reality was haunted. Then came the dreams, horrific, vivid dreams. Sometimes it stood at the foot of my bed, other times it would try to speak, though the words never quite formed. Once I woke up and felt it setting on my chest. The air was thick. I couldn't breathe. Sleep paralysis, maybe. Or maybe something more. This went on for years, and the years turned into decades. But finally, I turned my face towards the light. I'll tell you what happened next as we dig into what this thing may have been, and the many theories behind the shadow people. From spiritual to scientific, I'll take you through them all, and then I'll tell you where I land. Stick with us. In the meantime, let's make a little noise.
I ain't go looking for demons. They found me. After the death of my son, after the bottle, after I turned my back on the God I thought I knew, I saw it in the corner of my eye. And one day, right in front of me and smile. I lost my child, then I lost control. Sins took my soul down a rabbit hole. Drowned in a bottle, I was punching glass, looking for a sign in a field of ash. Corner of my eye, flicker flash gone. Turn my head, yo, it wasn't gone long. Red eyes, big grin, long coat, no face. Felt it feeding every time I lost faith. Wife saw it too, no drugs, no haze. Just a tall, dark thing in the back of the maze. Followed me for years through stained lines of pain. From the desert to the hills like it knew my name. I saw it in the shadows, I felt it in the night. It whispered when I trembled, it fed off every fight. But I called upon Yeshua and I stood my ground. And when I said his name, that demon turned around.
You ever carry something so long it feels like a part of you?
Not like a scar, like a passage. I didn't need a new ritual, I didn't need to cleanse. I needed the name above every name. I said it once, then the thing left. Not a scream, not a bang, just silence. For the first time in years. Used to ride with a ghost sitting on my back, talking in my dreams, always dressed in black. Tried new age, tried flame, tried to sage the place, but the thing laughed loud in my own damn face. So I cracked that book, opened page 1, started talking to the Father, not the moon or the sun. And the shadow got jumpy, I could feel its fear, like it knew the end was finally near. In the name of Yeshua, I spoke it bold, and the room got bright like the sun turned gold. 10 years gone, but I still feel the stare. When life gets heavy, yeah, I know it's there. I saw it in the shadow, you saw it in the dark. I wrestled with the night, with bruises on your heart. But I stood up with the word, forward draw, no retreat. And I watched the demon crumble, right beneath his feet. Yeah, I walked through the valley, with death in my wake. But I ride in the light now, no more chains, no more fake. So if you hear that whisper in the dark starts to grow, say his name loud, and watch the demon go. You ain't crazy, you're under attack, but you ain't alone. Call on Yeshua, the name that breaks the silent shadows, chains and sends every shadow running. Keep your eyes on the light, and your feet on the pedals. Shalom.
Hey, real quick. Big thanks to everyone out there listening to Babbling On in Babylon, brought to you by Bible and a Bicycle. It seriously means a lot that you're here. If you're enjoying the podcast, do me a favor. Hit like, subscribe, and maybe share it with a friend who'd get something out of it too. It helps way more than you might think. And if you want to support the show in a bigger way, check out the links in the description. There's merch, memberships, and other ways to help keep this thing rolling. New episodes drop every Sunday night, so thanks for riding with me. Let's keep it going.
Let me be clear. When something follows you for decades, whispers in your ear, drains your soul, lurks in mirrors, you want answers, and you search everywhere you can. I did. So what exactly are shadow people? Shadow people are often tall and humanoid in shape. They usually lack facial features, but may have glowing red or yellow eyes. Many sightings involve a figure wearing a hat. The Hat Man is one of those documented forms. They often appear in states of emotional or psychological vulnerability, grief, stress, trauma, fear, or addiction. Their movements are unnatural, fast, jerky, sometimes vanishing through walls or ceilings. They are frequently reported during sleep paralysis episodes, but not always. Some people see them while wide awake. They create a distinct emotional atmosphere of fear, dread, and anxiety. Sometimes even nausea. It's always discomfort. The scientific explanations? Well, psychological and neurological causes. Doctors and neuroscientists will tell you that shadow people are nothing more than hallucinations. Sleep paralysis is one of the most common explanations. It's that in-between state when your brain wakes up before your body does. You can't move, but you're semi-conscious. In this paralyzed state, many people report seeing terrifying figures at the edge of their vision, often a dark figure, silent and watching. Add in stress, trauma, lack of sleep, or mental illness, especially conditions like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, and you've got fertile ground for hallucinations. According to this view, shadow people aren't real, just your brain misfiring in a storm of chemicals and trauma. I won't lie, this explanation makes sense. For some cases, but not all. And then there's the paranormal and spiritual explanation. One popular theory is that shadow people are spirits, maybe ghosts of the dead, stuck between realms. Others say they're astral projections, people spiritually traveling outside their bodies and being seen by others as shadows. Some believe shadow people are assigned, one per person or per bloodline. Others think they show up when an invitation is given, whether knowingly through occult practices or unknowingly through trauma. There's even a theory that extreme emotional pain acts as a beacon, and once they show up, they don't leave easily. Then there's the interdimensional theory. This one's wild but fascinating. Some researchers believe there are multiple dimensions layered over our own. Think of it like invisible radio frequencies. You're tuned in to one, but that doesn't mean the others aren't real. Shadow people, they argue, might be entities bleeding through from another dimension. Just like we might be shadows in their world, they can sometimes appear in ours. I would explain why this shadow entity seemed just as surprised to see me as I was to see it. Here's what the cycle often looks like. You suffer a traumatic loss. You seek comfort in unhealthy ways: drugs, alcohol, rage, isolation. The shadow appears. You begin seeing it more frequently during emotional vulnerability. Your mental health begins to deteriorate. The entity becomes more real, more present. It becomes part of your life. In many New Age and occult circles, shadow people are seen as energetic manifestations, either of internal trauma or external spirits. Some claim they are thought forms created unconsciously by intense negative emotion, like fear, grief, or hatred, and once formed, they gain a kind of independent life. Others say they are shadow feeders, demonic entities that latch onto a person's emotional wounds. The more you feed them, the more they grow. They're not just watching, they're feeding. They're also sometimes linked with generational curses or spiritual contracts, doors opened by someone in the past that were never closed. And then there's the theological interpretation. Shadow people are demons. This one hits home for me. I believe what followed me was demonic. I say that not out of fear, but with clarity. I've walked through the darkness. I've lived in the grip of despair, and I've watched that thing squirm when the name of Yeshua was spoken. The Bible is very clear that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and he often starts by whispering in your weakest moments. Shadow people are not neutral. They're not misunderstood energy. They're agents of confusion, deception, and destruction. And they flee at the name of Yeshua, because his name carries authority they cannot counterfeit. And then you have that whole psychological symbolism aspect, that Jungian shadow self. Let's give a fair shake to the final theory, the shadow self. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, talked about how each of us has a shadow, a side we repress, hide, or deny. When we refuse to face our brokenness, it can manifest in dreams, behaviors, or mental patterns. Some believe shadow people are symbolic projections of our inner pain. Not demons, not spirits, but unhealed wounds taking form. It's a compelling idea, and honestly, I think there's a grain of truth in it. But what I saw wasn't just a projection of my trauma. It was an intelligent, malicious being that responded to fear and retreated at the name of Yeshua. My wounds didn't invent that. So, what do I believe? After everything, my experience, my research, my prayers, I believe shadow people are real spiritual entities, just one of a number that dwell in the unseen realm. Some may be manifestations of trauma. Some may be illusions or hallucination. But many are demonic beings that attach themselves to the broken and the grieving. And they are empowered by our pain. They are cowards in the presence of truth. And in part 4, I'll tell you how I broke free.
Are you tired of carrying the weight of the world? Do you suffer from chronic hopelessness, persistent guilt, or an unshakable sense that something is missing?
Introducing the Bible, the time-tested, soul-approved solution to the human condition. Not just another book, but a revolutionary life treatment backed by thousands of years of divine research. The Bible works naturally with your heart and mind to reveal your purpose, provide peace, and even reconnect you with your Creator. Side effects may include sudden outbursts of joy, unexplainable hope in dark circumstances, increased compassion and patience, talking to God like He's actually listening. He is. Freedom from fear, guilt, and shame. Radical forgiveness of others and yourself. Occasional moments of, wow, I really needed to hear that. A burning desire to love your neighbor, even if they play the drums at midnight. Not recommended for people who enjoy holding grudges, hate being challenged, or insist on being their own God. Results may vary, but eternal life is guaranteed with regular use. Consult your Creator before starting a Bible regimen. Side effects increase with prayer. The Bible. Ask your soul if it's right for you.
I didn't go looking for demons, they found me. After the death of my son, after the bottle, after I turned my back on the God I thought I knew, I saw it in the corner of my eye. Then one day, right in front of me, and it smiled. I lost my child and I lost control. SIDS took my soul down a rabbit hole. Drowned in a bottle, I was punching glass, looking for a sign in a field of ash. Corner of my eye, flicker flash gone. Turned my head, yo, it wasn't gone long. Red eyes, big grin, long coat, no face. Felt it feeding every time I lost faith. Wife saw it too, no drugs, no haze. Just a tall, dark thing in the back of the maze. Followed me for years through state lines and pain. From the desert to the hills like it knew my name. I saw it in the shadows, I felt it in the night. It whispered when I trembled, it fed off every fight. But I called upon Yeshua and I stood my ground. And when I said his name, that demon turned around. You ever carry something so long it feels like a part of you? Not like a scar, like a passenger. I didn't need a new ritual, I didn't need a cleanse. I needed the name above every name. I said it once and the thing left. Not a scream, not a bang, just silence for the first time in years. Used to ride with a ghost sitting on my back, talking in my dreams, always dressed in black. Tried new age, tried flame, tried to sage the place, but the thing laughed loud in my own damn face. So I cracked that book, opened page 1, started talking to the Father, not the moon or the sun. And the shadow got jumpy, I could feel its fear, like it knew the end was finally near. In the name of Yeshua, I spoke it bold, and the room got bright like the sun turned gold. 10 years gone, but I still feel the stare. When life gets heavy, yeah, I know it's there. I saw it in the shadows, you saw it in the dark. I wrestled with the night, with bruises on your heart. But I stood up with the word, or drawn, no retreat. And I watched that demon crumble right beneath his feet. Yeah, I walked through the valley, with death in my wake. But I ride in the light now, no more chains, no more fake. So if you hear that whisper, and the dark starts to grow, say his name loud, and watch that demon go. You ain't crazy, you're under attack, but you ain't alone. Call on Yeshua, the name that breaks the silent shadows chains, extends every shadow running. Keep your eyes on the light and your feet on the pedals. Shalom. You ever carry something so long it feels like a part of you? Not like a scar, like a passenger. But I stood my ground, and when I said his name, that demon turned around.
We've come a long way, from the flickers in the corner of my eye to 20 years of being stalked, drained, and deceived by a shadow entity that I believe was demonic. We've explored the science, the folklore, the philosophy, and the paranormal theories. And now, we land where the healing truly began. I want to talk to you about freedom, because I didn't find it through research or rituals or reason. I found it in Yeshua. Now, that wasn't instant. I didn't just wake up one day full of faith. My journey to the light was messy, hesitant, suspicious, and slow, painfully slow. I had been lied to about God growing up. I saw religion as control. I saw the Bible as a tool used by the same kinds of people who had hurt me. So I didn't run back to the church. I started alone, reading scripture in secret, asking hard questions, and wrestling like Jacob. And somewhere in that slow grind, something started to shift. There's power in the Word, not because it's ink on paper, but because it carries the spirit of truth. As I read, really read, I felt layers peeling off. Lies I had believed for decades began to unravel. I wasn't the unlovable addict. I wasn't broken beyond repair. and I wasn't abandoned. I was loved, chosen, redeemed. And as I started to believe that, the shadow got nervous. The dreams increased, the sense of being watched grew intense. The old dark companion, so quiet for a while, started pacing again, like it knew the eviction notice was coming. And then one day, I remember this vividly, I felt it watching me. I wasn't high, I wasn't hallucinating, I wasn't even drinking. I was stone cold sober. And angry. Not scared. Angry. I was tired of running. From myself, from Yeshua. So I said it out loud. In the name of Yeshua, the Messiah, you have no place here no longer. Get out. There was no special ritual, no Latin phrases. Just a name above all names, spoken with authority. And it left. Just like that. No screaming, no special effects. But the air changed. The weight lifted. And I haven't seen it since. That was almost 10 years ago. Now, let's be real, life didn't just suddenly become perfect. I still face sorrow, loss, temptation. Sometimes I even feel that old pressure in the room, like a familiar scent. But it's just a shadow of a shadow now. It holds no power over me anymore. I am not haunted. I am free. Let me share a few scriptures that became weapons in this fight. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. James 4:7. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Luke 10:19. Behold, I give unto you power over all the power of the enemy. And in Psalm 91, verses 5 through 6, we can read, You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the pestilence that walks in the darkness. And then there's John 1:5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. If you're listening and you feel like something is following you, maybe it's in the form of depression, anxiety, nightmares, unexplained fear, or even something more literal, I want you to hear me clearly. You are not crazy, and you are not alone. Whether what you're experiencing is psychological, spiritual, or both, the name of Yeshua still has power over it. There is no shadow too dark, no past too painful, no wound too deep for him to heal. You don't need to be perfect to be delivered. You just need to turn to the light. I could have spent my whole life analyzing the darkness, but instead, I chose to walk towards the light. And you can too. Thank you for riding with me through this here whacked out adventure. If this helped you, share it with someone who might be battling in silence, and let them know they're not alone. There is freedom, there is hope, and his name is Yeshua. Until next time, keep your eyes on the light, your armor on tight, and your feet on the pedals. I know your time is valuable, and I surely do appreciate you spending a little bit here listening to this old guy Babylon in Babylon. Shalom, shalom.
I've been looking for demons. They found me. After the death of my son. After the bottle. After I turned my back on the God I thought I knew. I saw it in the corner of my eye. Then one day, right in front of me. And it smiled. I lost my child and I lost control. Sins took my soul down a rabbit hole. Drowned in a bottle, I was punching glass. Looking for a sign in a field of ash. Corner of my eye, flicker flash gone. Turn my head, yo, it wasn't gone long. Red eyes, big grin, long coat, no face. Felt defeating every time I lost faith. Wife saw it too, no drugs, no haze. Just a tall, dark thing in the back of the maze. Followed me for years through state lines and pain. From the desert to the hills like it knew my name. I saw it in the shadows, I felt it in the night. It whispered when I trembled, it fed off every fight. But I called upon Yeshua, and I stood my ground. And when I said his name, that demon turned around, yeah. You ever carry something so long it feels like a part of you? Not like a scar, like a passenger. I didn't need a new ritual, I didn't need a cleanse. I needed the name above every name. I said it once and the thing left. Not a scream, not a bang, just silence. For the first time in years. Used to ride with a ghost sitting on my back, talking in my dreams, always dressed in black. Tried new age, tried flame, tried to sage the place, but the thing laughed loud in my own damn face. So I cracked that book, opened page 1. Started talking to the Father, not the moon or the sun. And the shadow got jumpy, I could feel its fear, like it knew the end was finally near. In the name of Yeshua I spoke it bold, and the room got bright like the sun turned gold. 10 years gone, but I still feel the stare. When life gets heavy, yeah, I know it's there. Hey, I saw it in the shadows, you saw it in the dark. I wrestle with the night, with bruises on your heart. But I stood up with the word, swore draw no retreat. And I watched that demon crumble right beneath his feet. Yeah, I walked through the valley with death in my wake, but I ride in the light. Now no more chains, no more fake. So if you hear that whisper and the dark starts to grow, say his name loud and watch that demon go. Hey! You ain't crazy, you're under attack, but you ain't alone. Call on Yeshua, the name that breaks the silence, shatters chains and sends every shadow running. Keep your eyes on the light and your feet on the pedals. Shalom. You ever carry something so long it feels like a part of you? Not like a scar, like a passenger. I didn't need a new ritual, I didn't need a cleanse. I needed the name above every name. I said it once, and the thing left. Not a scream, not a bang, just silence. For the first time in years. Used to ride with a ghost sitting on my back, talking in my dreams, always dressed in black. Tried new age, tried flame, tried to sage the place, but the thing laughed loud in my own damn face. So I cracked that book, opened page 1, started talking to the Father, not the moon or the sun. And the shadow got jumpy, I could feel its fear, like it knew the end was finally near. name of Yeshua, I spoke it bold. And the room got bright, like the sun turned gold. 10 years gone,